saying from our kind of predictions, obviously nothing is set in stone yet, but to get to this tournament, to get to the final of the eChampions League, there was lots of doubts about his ability. Has he fallen off, you know, at a very competitive rate? Is he still the player he was?
The only reason the doubts about his performance was the simple fact that we'd not seen him. When you've not seen something for a while, you tend to forget about it. And that's simply what happened with Joksan. People didn't see him performing, they didn't see him making events because he wasn't trying to make events. The event that he came back into, Singapore, it was good, it wasn't great. It went out in the early knockout stages. After that, he's been on fire. And that win against MS Desari reignited Joksan's hype in the eChampions League.
Yeah, well, it was a round of 32 win against MS Desari, the current world champion of FIFA, obviously won the FIFA E-World Cup last year. And he had to go and play against Papsity, in which was a 9-8 victory for Joksan. A really incredible game. However, the player he's up against, Zezinho, he has a story to tell as well. Plays for Team Hullet. I'm sure he'll be using Hullet all throughout the competitive year as well. Such an influential icon, as you know, with the new squad rules for this tournament. Only 3 icons are allowed. If you didn't know already, it's Joksan from left to right in that Ajax strip. With Zezinho from right to left in that white strip. It's going to be the first attack off the game. It is Ruud Hullet, speaking of the devil.
Yeah, and you're seeing the early stages yet again. One player sort of taking the incentive in the early going. I expect Joksan maybe to keep hold of the ball for decent periods, feel himself into the game. He was nervous coming into this first round of the knockout in the quarterfinals. He said if he gets past that quarterfinal, he's backing himself to go on and win the eChampions League. It's as simple as that. Just gets past the first game.
Another chance for him now. Ronaldo went for the half turn. Could not turn around past Van Dijk though. Speaking of the icons that they have both used, you can see the free for Joksan. The standard, or you should say the book free, of Hullet, Vieira and R9. We're used to seeing them, we're used to talking about them, and it's exactly the same on the other hand as well for Zezinho, who actually made the FIWC finals, as it was called, back in 2017. What a story he had as well, from a very small town in Brazil. We were able to catch him in Los Angeles, in which he was in tears. He was in tears in Manchester when he qualified for this tournament.
In 2017, he was there. He was a much younger individual. He went with his mum at the time, and he just wasn't expecting to go on and be successful in FIFA. He qualified for the FIWC Grand Finals in 2017. Didn't play the best in London, but then in Manchester last year we saw a good performance from him at the FUT Champions Spring Cup. We then saw him in Singapore in March, really good performance there, making a console final versus Houston. And then in Manchester just topped it off, finished top 8, beating Footwiz Tom in the round of 16 and solidifying his place here in Madrid.
Yeah, he did indeed. Some of those names that could have been in this tournament. Some huge, huge names, and we know how Manchester went with the qualifiers. Some of the big names leaving the competition. That's 2 chances now for Zezinho that he's tried to whip in. A finesse back to goal. Time green, kind of low driven as well. Both times it has been matched by the goalkeeper though. Pull it now into Mbappe. Oh no, and back to goal. Can he find anywhere?
Joksan's one of those players as well where he almost thrives under adversity. If you look back to Manchester and actually look into the games and really look at how the games went, it was a last-minute goal to win in his final Swiss round against Veni. He was then under the cosh, sort of trailing by 3 goals.
Second chance of asking, another save.
Versus Papsity in that round of 16 matchup. And he had to go all the way to penalty shootout. It was a penalty shootout versus Paps, which he did win the game in the end.
What I thought was crazy as well, as you've just pointed out, there's 3 players at this tournament that got out of Swiss with a 4-3 record. One of them is already in the semi-finals. That was New York City Chris. He was 3-0, then went on a trail of losing games. It doesn't matter though. You're here in Madrid, you forget about that, and we saw how that game went. 4-3 win for New York City Chris. He's waiting to play either Marcuso or Lev Vinken. Whilst Nightwatch, I'm sure, is somewhere in this building, in this venue, watching this stream and thinking, who could I be up against in the semi-finals of the eChampions League? Because he will be facing up against one of these 2. in which you said he didn't have the biggest performance. Still got the job done though for him. Again, another narrow win. Ball comes in. Dealt with once again by Zezinho.
Like I said as well, congratulations to Joksan on the recent move to complexity.
Oh, that's a mistake. Roulette away from Neymar.
Yeah, just didn't need to execute the spin there. In all honesty, I think he was just looking to get away from his man and then look for a square ball across the box.
Mbappe, watch out for the cross. He's done so well to get past his man. Ronaldo's in there as well. Hula had to get back and defend.
You're seeing there the different variations of the cross into the box after the skill move. We tend to see the El Tornado. On that occasion there, you saw the Balassi flick. Exactly the same execution, just holding R1 instead of using L1. Personally, for me, I think the Balassi flick, you get a better success rate. I feel like sometimes with the El Tornado, you can input it and it might not come off, or you might execute a different skill move instead. With the Balassi flick, it feels a lot more crisp when you're executing that up left motion, up right motion with the right analog stick.
Of course, as we went through, we'd probably say a patch of just tornado crosses, tornado finishes. Think back to Singapore when we saw Houston really thriving, using that kind of skill move.
Well, it's still effective in the game, there's no doubt about it. However,
a bit like the cricketer. Obviously, it's not the same skill, don't get me wrong, but in a way that it can be efficient.
I would say players are just quicker to identify when a player's setting up for it, so they squeeze tighter to the players. Early doors, it were almost like you're going to do the El Tornado, you weren't expecting to shoot after it until people realised, oh God, this is actually really, really strong and this is really good. And this is something that I have to implement into my arsenal.
There is a free kick given away on the stroke of half-time. The added time of 2 minutes have been played. Ronaldo's going to pick it up short. Will there be a shot or at least a chance from this? Neymar tries to drop the shoulder. Ramos gets floored, and we go into half-time in this first leg. And once again, another tightly contested match, 0-0.
And you're seeing a number of different style of coaches, which I find really fascinating over the course of this event. They're going to play a lot more of an impactful role than what you're seeing at the eChampions League rather than a couple of other events that we've had this year. Half-time, they're in there talking. On one hand, you've got Mikhail, who's sort of a hype man, you'd say. That's how Joksan's described him. It gets him going, it gets him excited, it gets him playing with confidence.
We saw that in Manchester, yeah.
You're seeing a lot more tactical approach. How can you break down your opponent? Do you come in with a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, similar to what Team Bundle do? They'll have 6 or 7 different game plans which they can implement throughout the match.
It was something that could be talked about as well, Richard, that we used to talk about all the time back in FIFA 17. Is there a skill gap between the Americas scene, the European scene, and it was the rest of the world? I think that was something that was talked about quite a lot for the 3 North American players in the competition, saying that a lot of us are coming in as underdogs. You look at the season that Joksan's had. He's 5th in the Global Series rankings. He's picked up a Continental Cup victory. He's a PlayStation champion. Is it still even a debate?
I mean, it's a debate that will go on till the end of time.
Van Dijk! The first chance wasn't enough for an indicator of how close Joksan was to breaking the deadlock. The corner certainly was, just drifted in.
Just put it on the penalty spot. Sometimes it's as simple as that. Just put the ball in the box. Say to your centre half, say to your tall, tough players, just go and attack the ball. As we're talking about the skill gap in between different regions, I feel like for this event in particular, you can't really look at it because there are only 8 spots available. When you're looking, it's more along the lines of 64-man tournaments. At the playoffs, for example,
it's always the Germans coming out on top, the European scene.
You can have a slight more better justified approach to it.
I think I'm just saying it more in the way that it was just something that Joksan, he commented on in his interviews coming into this tournament. Said it a lot. We are a fantastic region when it comes to competitive FIFA. He wasn't involved in EMLS, but in the international scale, we've seen it from the likes of New York City Chris as well, that have been able to compete time after time. New York City Chris has played the most competitive FIFA within the Global Series this year, which just shows how many tournaments he has played in. As we approach the 60th minute mark in this first leg of our 3rd quarter-final live in Madrid for the eChampions League finals. Joksan currently 1-0 up against a Brazilian Zezinho. And it was a goal that came from a set piece. Van Dijk was able to beat his man in the air and smash that one into the back of the net. Can he extend that lead heading into the second leg?
I'll tell you what as well, in this arena right now, it is seriously hotting up in terms of the temperature, which is going to play another factor on the players themselves. You've got different situations that you have to deal with. The heat, the cameras, the lights, that's all going to add in to this sort of package.
And it's just a feel in Madrid at the moment as well, with the Champions League happening tomorrow.
It's an excitable place to be.
It's a really special place. And the journey that these players have had, the experiences they've been able to accumulate on the build-up to this tournament. Drops the shoulder, Mbappe. This is Zezinho now. Croqueta, ball across R9! Just like that. You blink for a second. Croqueta. Next thing you know, it's in the back of the net, and Zezinho is straight back in this game.
And that's where that skill move just is so effective out wide, where you can adjust the direction in which you're willing to go. You can come inside, you can go on the outside, you can exit the skill move to a different way that you entered the skill move. Just simple ball across the box. R9 slots it home.
Min Song, first time we've been able to commentate on him so far. It seems Eusebio introduced as well. Min Song will be the out-and-out striker in the 4-2-3-1. Eusebio out on the left as well.
So you've seen all three changes made right there for Zezinho, with Eusebio out wide, Luka Modric as a right CDM, and then the team of the season, Min Song, up top. But you see, just attacking the byline, it's something that I talk about. I feel like every single event, if you can get to the byline and you can use that space, A, your opponent can't bring you down because you're going to get a penalty or it's going to go out for a corner. And B, if you can get to the byline and get that ball cut back, it's a certain goal.
It's a dangerous place to get, especially if you're someone that's trying to defend it. There is the risk of giving away a penalty, or as you said, scoring a goal just like Zezinho did. And every single game just seems to be so tightly contested so far.
Once again, you're saying Eder Militao in at right back.
Played left back earlier, centre back probably for a few players. Hullet on the edge of the box. R9, the goal scorer of the first, will look for a second. It rebounds off Hullet, who's offside, unfortunately. And possession will change hands. Zezinho getting us underway from this free kick. 20 minutes or just so left in this first leg, and once again, we are so tightly contested.
I like that there, just from Zezinho. He pressed L1 and forced R9 to make that run in behind. I don't think he ever had any incentive to pass the ball to R9, but just making the run pulled away the centre half from it, and it opened up the space for Son to move into. Other little intricacies, bringing players short with R1, sending players long with L1.
He has got the likes of Eusebio on the far-hand side. Modric is fresh as well, that team of the year. Fired to me, he's just recently been introduced. R9 will stop and turn. David Hay gets up. Wow, he got away with that one.
For a second, I thought that ball was going to bounce off him and just roll into the back of the net.
Kind of got stuck under his thigh, and the defender came and just hooked it out.
Recently, we've seen a number of different goalkeepers used for players. Seems like this event, it's either pretty much 7 out of 8 for David De Gea, and then so Courtois in use earlier.
It's been the Champions League David De Gea as well that we've seen.
Yeah, it's an easy way of getting one of your Champions League players out almost, and getting it down to only 2 Champions League players. Use Ronaldo, that's 1 less rating. You've only got 1 Champions League player then that's going to weaken your squad. A lot of people using the Van Dijk, the 93.
Oh, back to goal.
Champions League Van Dijk
at the shot
instead of the Player of the Year.
I've also seen the likes of Neymar be used as well by a few players. Another pause now. This is Joksan's team we're looking at, who's, I think, only made 1 sub so far, which is Messi. He's in that cam role at the moment in the 4-2-3-1. He has got the likes of Modric, Royce, Havertz on the bench, who was a hero for Night Watch.
I'm just looking at his team there, and De Gea, Ronaldo. I'm not sure who the other Champions League player is there on Joksan's team. He's got R9 up top.
Might just be able to see it again if he switches back. He's looking at Zezinho's team at the moment, but we're down on the substitutes list. If he could switch back, give us a second though.
99 Messi, the team of the year. 97 Mbappe, the team of the year. 98 Ronaldo is one of the Champions League players. He's got the 3 icons in R9, Hullet and Vieira. Alex Telles is the team of the season. 96 Van Dijk is the player of the year. Varane.
Interesting. He's in that team as well. As we said, there are rules in place that if you do sub off an icon has to come on. Exact same story with a Champions League variant. And obviously, one of those other Champions League players making up his team is Van Dijk, as you pointed out, Richard. Some players liking to go towards him as a safe option. He's got quite a few for items now. Team of the year, team of the season, player of the year. Throw on a Champions League one as well, because if you didn't know already, as these players will continue to get better for their clubs in the competition, the likes of Spurs and Liverpool, they're going to be some of the best players to use. Hence why we're even seeing the likes of Heung-min Son involved.
Yeah, 100%. Son, very, very good off the bench as well. That team of the season, Son. It's very similar to Eusebio in the way that he plays. 5-star weak foot, 4-star skill moves. Rapid off the ball as well.
Well, it's a Modric back to goal. There's Heung-min Son. He's going to be involved in Eusebio with a weak effort at goal. That's not going to be troubling anyone. Added time to come now. Probably of 2 minutes. There we go, in front of us. I'm sure this one might just close out as a 1-1 from our first leg. And
again, another draw.
Yeah, the first leg seems to be the contested ties. Well, every single game has only been won by a goal. Alan Avi against Nightwatch, Rafsu against New York City, Chris. It's all by a goal. No one's running away with any games at the moment, and that's full time in this first leg of our third quarter-final of the eChampions League. And it's going to be a 1-1 scoreline. This is when your coaches come in. And what would your coaches be saying to you?
Yeah, this is the important bit, really. You get about 2 minutes, I'd say, in between the legs. It's where you get in. What did you feel were going well for you? What did you feel were going wrong for you? Can we address any issues after that first leg? This is the sort of the moment where the coaches earn their money, you'd say. We saw it in the past. We saw it in Singapore perfectly. Tex was in the console final against Resende, and they were losing after the first leg. Enzo, who was coaching him at that event, the Roma Fanatic coach, he said, take first-time shots. He's not moving his goalkeeper that well. What happened? Tex, in 45 minutes, he'd scored 3 first-time shots from the outside of the box.
Some of the highlights there, and fantastic information about how coaches can be influential, Richard. And every coach has a different style. You saw Mikel there when Joksan scored, a huge roar behind him. He's a hype coach. That's exactly what he does. But that will, of course, conclude the first leg of this one. We are going to throw it over to Rachel and Kyle now, who are actually, you could say, pitch side at the moment.
I know, I feel actually a little bit too close for comfort. They're literally behind me. That's why I'm speaking a little bit quieter. But it's great being here because you really get the emotion. But Zezinho, Carl, is cool as you like. Celebrated there with a fist pump just to equalise. But I'm sure if he goes to semi-finals, he will be the one showing all the emotion. Because if you remember back in Manchester, he was the one that FaceTimed his parents and the pet, and they were crying. The emotions were wild. But he's just so excited to be here, Kyle, isn't he?
He definitely is excited. He's been posting all over his social media about the amazing experience that it is being part of the first eChampions League. And you can see right there all the gifts that these guys got. The bag, the suit, unbelievable. He says, awesome gifts, thanks at Champions League, at EA Sports, FIFA. And you can see the star eyes and the love heart eyes right there. I'm very jealous of the suits because they look super dapper. However, he's also put a picture up of the tracksuit that we've got as well, so we can look as cool as all of these competitors.
They are spoiled, but rightly so, because they are the top 8 in the world here at the first ever eChampions Leagues. But guys, it's back to you for this second leg. We can't wait.
Yes, guys, thank you very much for that. And, we're feeling the heat in the commentary booth. These guys are right next to the action. They can hear all the rules. All the goals go in. And did you see the kind of care packages they got?
Did you?
eChampions League gifts.
Did you get one?
I didn't get one. Did you?
No.
I was jealous, though. Did you see? Bags, watches, suits. We could do with a new one.
It was nice. It was a nice package. But it was deserved.
Of course. There's only 8 players to do it out of the thousands.
Champions League, do you know what I mean? You expect that sort of treatment coming. You've guaranteed yourself a Champions League ticket. Who's going to be walking away with $100,000? By the end of play today, we'll have found our winner of the inaugural eChampions League. It's going to be top draw.
I don't know if you remember back in Paris for Joksan, part of his prize was winning Champions League tickets. So he's in a position where if he wins, he's already got a ticket. He's going to be giving them out. Do you want a ticket?
Mikhail,
Champions League final?
Who wants a ticket? I've got tickets to go.
Because he won that prize. He won the first tournament of the year. It was the first LQE of the Global Series. He came out running right at the beginning, or right at the end of October, I should say. And once again, he set the kind of mark for competitive FIFA. He went top of the Global Series rankings. Obviously, it's all about rankings this year. It's all about Global Series ranking points.
He set the bar very high for the PlayStation, and I feel like in sort of October, November, going into December, he was high, and nobody could really touch him on the PlayStation. He then took the break, a deserved break, to study on his college and his studies. He's then come back, and he said, I'm still there. People just not seen me. And right now, he's chipping away at that, you could say, best player of FIFA 19. I'd say he's definitely up there. I think Tex is probably leading the line for the best player of FIFA 19, sort of as a season. Obviously, we can't know until the grand finals roll around. But going into the playoffs, he's going to be one to watch. He's going to be feared, is Joksan.
Yeah, especially, and as you said about Joksan, people saying, is he up to the job? Can he do it or not? I've actually got a very small VT of why he thinks he can win the eChampions League.
I deserve to be the first ECL champion because I had a really tough route. I had to beat the world champion in round 32, and the round of 16 I was down 4-1 and had to come back to win penalties. I haven't prepared myself differently, just continue being myself, just chill.
Oh, well, there you go. You heard it from Joksan, very short and sweet in the end, even caught us off guard. But anyone can win this tournament. 100%. We've seen it from how tight these games have been. One mistake, one bit of class in some aspects can be the difference. We saw it with Havertz for Dr. Nightwatch. Go back a few weeks, he was not even in the conversation of being in that team.
Do you know why? He wasn't even in the game. He's only been out
true.
like a week.
But we saw him in the virtual Bundesliga.
We saw him in the virtual Bundesliga as the player of the month, Havertz, and then we've seen the team of the season, Havertz. Front and centre, you'd say, at the eChampions League. Danny da Costa, I can see probably coming in at right back a little bit as well, the German fullback. These squad rules have sort of added a different dynamic to the entirety of this tournament, Brandon. And I look forward to seeing what, coming forward in the last quarterfinal that we're going to have between Marcuso and Lev, are they going to be doing in terms of their squads?
Exactly that. Well, as you said, there was a number of squad rules on this tournament. And let's have a look at a small VT from Zezinho.
My most important player pick, it was Ruud Gullit. He can play every position and he's the best defensive midfielder. And I think this is the most important position on the pitch, so that's why.
Well, that's an interesting one because you would probably want to be saying nice things about your manager in Ruud Gullit. He is your manager, but he is so good in competitive FIFA.
It's to be expected, really, isn't it? It seems we've had competitive FIFA on Ultimate Team as FIFA Ultimate Team since FIFA 17. I don't think there's ever been an event where Ruud Gullit's not been in the squad. FIFA 17, our first event in Berlin, he was front and centre. FIFA 18, he was there. I remember the goal that Gorilla scored with him in FIFA 17 at the
so good,
FIWC Grand Finals against Dito, and he sort of pointed to him in the crowd. It's fantastic, and we're seeing what Ruud Gullit is all about, that prime icon moments. Ruud Gullit, 4-star skills, 5-star weak foot, unbelievably well-rounded. I think he's got about 2,700 in-game stats. That's pretty much perfect in every single aspect. Shooting, reactions, stamina, heading accuracy. He's 6'3". He's unbelievable in every aspect. We've seen him play from cam to left back. Anywhere on the pitch, he can do a job.
I think I remember as well his lowest stat. I think it was slide tackling, wasn't it?
Yeah, like 77 slide tackling.
Yeah, 77, 76 it was. And to be that good with that, overall statistics as a player, 6'3". Last year we saw him attack a little bit more, I'd like to say. Like, he was scoring goals from the edge of the box back in the playoffs, I remember in Amsterdam. This year, he's more get the ball down, break up, then he'll release it.
I'll tell you who's sort of equal or getting towards that level, that team of the season, Leon Goretzka. For me, I think him alongside Ruud Gullit as a 2DM sort of formation, that would be probably the best thing going forward. I think attacking and on the ball, Goretzka's a lot better than Vieira, but Vieira just offers you that defensiveness that Goretzka can't. It's a great debate about your centre-mid, CDM, who you want in that role.
I think as well what's great is that you've spoke about is that, ever since EA really got behind competitive FIFA, it's been the story of Vieira and Gullit. More so Gullit.
Yeah.
of the players that have been a staple in competitive FIFA. They've been part of these teams. You look at the icon list that you want, it's going to be Hullet up there, number 1, Vieira in second, then this year you look at maybe R9 has to be there, Eusebio, yeah. And then
We've seen Rio
the list goes on, but at the beginning of the year, it was Maldini, it was Rio Ferdinand involved. Rafsu used Rio Ferdinand just a game ago.
And he went out, so he can't.
It was a tight game, though.
Yeah,
it was a tight game, and he's in there for a reason.
The moments that got released spiced it up so much, because you saw the likes of Johan Cruyff, you saw the likes of Eusebio, even R9 to some aspect. When the Team of the Year players were released, they took a little bit of a back seat, and some of those icons got completely booted out of the car. Whereas now, with the moments that came in, they have got back in, and they are pretty much the players that you build your team around. I imagine when a pro's building their team, the first players they put in, Vieira, Hullet, as your 2 centre mids, and then you build it around it. You put CR7 in, you put Team of the Year Mbappe in, and then you have those roles that are a little bit variable. Your right back, your left back, your goalkeeper. They're the roles that could change up.
Well, here we go then. The second leg of our third quarter-final here in Madrid for the eChampions League finals. Zezinho against Joksan. This America's clash, South America against North America. And currently, this game sits in the best way possible. 1-1 the scoreline. It was a header from Virgil van Dijk. And it was shortly capitalised on straight back down the other end by Zezinho.
It's a nice ball over the top.
Zezinho kicking from left to right in this white strip. He's going to pick it up with Cristiano Ronaldo on this right-hand side. A man you'd probably want in the box. He's down that byline, though, that really dangerous area as far as Ruud Hullet. The man is manager, and probably could have been a hero if that went in.
I like the little build-up play on the edge of the box as over Ronaldo. Direct.
There's Hullet. And there he is again! The manager of Zezinho steps up and volleys it into the roof of the net.
Yes, beautiful swivel strike there from Ruud Hullet. Really, really great finish from the Dutch icon.
Credit where it's due as well to Van Dijk. He did something there just to get in the way. And he just did enough to open up a pocket of space for it, just to pivot and smash that into the roof of the net to give him the lead for the first time in this tie.
Advantage Zezinho in this second leg. Every single match in this eChampions League has been up in the air until there's been one little bit of class, one little mistake. We saw it in the Rafsu Chris game. We saw it in the Nightwatch Alan Abbey game. Late goals.
There's one man that can come back with his back against the wall. It's Joksan. We saw it not 2 or 3 times, even more so in Manchester with some of his results. Even the game against Papsity, at one point he was 3-0 down in one of those legs. Pulled it back and did enough to send himself here to the Champions League finals. Zezinho's got other ideas though. This is class from Mbappe. He does go out for a corner.
Zezinho's starting to tick right now, and I tell you, it's a dangerous, dangerous place to be if you're against him.
It's getting into like Singapore kind of drive that we saw him in.
He's pressing when he does play at the very best level. He's so good. He doesn't give you any time on the ball. His right stick switching, some of the best that I've seen, in all honesty.
Oh, this is great. Pull it now. Oh, he nearly scored an equaliser down the other end. We've been talking about him in the interval between both of these games of how good that prime icon moment is. 6'3" height. And so good. I was speaking about being defensively. Going forward, he's actually surprised me. He was always in the conversation, but I never really saw him score many goals. Players more happy to lay it off to the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo's R9s. Here's Joksan now. Watch out for that run of Cristiano Ronaldo. Don't think Vieira's going to make an overlap. I'll be surprised if he does. R9 heel to heel. Flicks it up perfectly and plays it straight into the hands of David De Gea. Not going to be troubling the
Passing
Spaniard.
accuracy early doors, 97% for Joksan on the ball. Unfortunately, he's not been able to turn that high percentage passing accuracy into anything clear cut as of yet, but plenty of time left to play. Sergio Ramos is so good defensively.
Well, I know that his Team of the Year fight was just dropped to everybody watching in the chat. He's so good, isn't he, at the back? He can fill in at right back if you want him to as well. It's kind of just become a thing this year. Started off as something that was questioned, and now he's at right back, what seems every single tournament or every single game. But in this one, he has been playing centre half as well. Speaking of the devil, there he is on the ball. He's going to fall back to Hullet, the goal scorer of the only goal in this second leg. Ronaldo nearly into Neymar.
Thought for a second he'd stole that off his toe.
Nearly. Just enough to lock onto that and maybe chip it over. The goalkeeper that couldn't do anything about it. Ronaldo, a few step overs to pull away from his man. Does well. Lays it back to Ramos, who decides not to cross it. Interchanges quickly with Vieira, back to Hullet. That's a great ball over. You saw the idea. You can just see Mikel over Joksan's shoulder as well. The big come on, get your head in the game.
Switch on.
It's too easy.
You've not come all the way to Madrid to got knocked out in the quarter-finals.
Neymar from distance.
Any sort of goalkeeper movement, that's flying in the back of the net.
Ronaldo's in there as well. And a big hoof from R9.
Alex Telles.
And I think there's something wrong with his control of that.
He brought that down like he's on.
Tell you what, though, he's won a free kick back to goal there, Alex Telles. Just get your body up, try and win something out of it, and he's done exactly that.
He's doing on the showboat with a touch like that. Unbelievable composure from Alex Telles there, but 2-1. Zezinho with that early goal. Joksan's starting to build into the game, and that sort of shout from your coach, just saying, "Focus, come on." I think Joksan relishes off that a little bit.
I think I loved what you said as well about you've come all this way to compete. New York City Chris, when we spoke to him on the couch, when I was on there, I said, congratulations, and he just kind of went, I didn't come here to
lose.
Obviously, no one comes here to lose, but I didn't come all this way to go and lose my first game. Winning the first game was everything for me. All the preparation, it's over 30 days since Manchester. You've got time to prepare for it. It's 2 legs of FIFA, but as we know, it can go any way. It's not swish, you haven't got backups. It's an aggregate scoreline in a knockout match.
I mean, in reality, you win 3 games and you win. That's it. You win 3 matches of FIFA.
You can't break it down like that, yeah.
It sounds so simple, but 3 games and you win $100,000. You win a VIP MasterCard exclusive, unbelievable.
Amazing.
Too many adjectives to call it, package for you and your guest here at the eChampions League for the Champions League. It's once in a lifetime opportunity for these 8 players, and who's it going to be? We've had 2 eliminated so far. The 3rd eliminated. Joksan, as it stands, will be going out.
Yeah, exactly that. And this will be whoever will play Nightwatch in the semi-final stages. If you don't know what they're playing for as well, $15,000 they got just for coming to this tournament. You get into the semis, you go into 30K, then it goes up and up and up. And let's just talk $100,000. It's not a prize pot, it's to the winner.
It's a lot of money.
$100,000. That trophy, I'm sure people have seen it enough, it's incredible. You'll be the first name on that trophy.
And let's not forget, 850 Global Series ranking points, which could be the difference for Nightwatch between having an average playoffs and not making grand final, and having an average playoffs and making grand final. That's how clutch this tournament could be for the Bulgarian. But fantastic tournament so far. We've had unbelievable games. In reality,
so
the Rafsu New York City Chris game, the first game of the day, I thought we were going to go to penalty shootout. We've had drama, we've had tension. This room right now, if I could get a knife out, even a plastic knife, I'd be cutting it. Because the tension is palpable here in Madrid.
I think more to say it's hot in here. It's getting hot.
Yeah,
outside, it's about 30 degrees as well, so there's kind of nowhere to escape. And I'm sure the FIFA will just continue to hot up as well throughout today in the knockout stage of the eChampions League. Obviously, good luck with those rewards, those drops that I'm sure will be continued throughout the stream. Ramos, though, you spoke about him, incredible player. Speak about the rules. For us, it's great to talk about the rules for the teams. They've got 3 icons. They've got 3 Champions League for items that they have to use as well. From a commentary perspective, it's fantastic to build these stories that we're able to say, why has he chosen him? What's he missing out on with that player?
It really is, and that's sort of the difference between going out in the quarterfinals and making the semi-finals. Speaking of the further sort of bracket that we could talk about here at the eChampions League, let's have a look at how the teams are going to match up against each other in the bracket play going into the semi-finals. We know that in the quarterfinal, we had Rafsu, we had New York City Chris, and then going into the semi-finals, the winner of this game plays the winner of Nightwatch versus Alanavi.
Well, we are back into this match now, but we'll give you a bracket after this match has finished. But as you said, Richard, whoever wins this will play against Nightwatch. That's a mistake there, Joksan. This is a golden opportunity. Saved by the feet of De Gea. I have no idea what Zezinho's just done there. He just played it to the feet of R9. It was a one-on-one.
They're the sort of opportunities that you go to bed dreaming about. He timed it green. And the goalkeeper bailed out Zezinho right there.
Unbelievable chance for Joksan. He won't be getting one of them again. Tellez, he's out of position. Ronaldo will link up with Neymar. Watch out for Joksan. I'm sure in that short interval he's just been fired up by his coach, Mikel. You don't travel all these 1,000 miles, and it was great to speak to Zezinho actually after Singapore, just to put into context the amount of travelling some of these players have to do to get to Singapore, especially for Zezinho as well. I was having a chat with him. He said he had to fly over to Brazil, then he had to get a bus, then he had to get a train on top of that. All for the love of competitive FIFA, and he's deserved to be in this eChampions League final as he comes forward. Now R9 will score again. It's deja vu with that finish. Down the byline, play it back across, and R9 will step up again. The first time, I think, in all of our quarterfinals there has been a 2-goal advantage.
Again, attacking the byline, heel to heel out of his feet, and you thought that was sort of it, the skill move, but he executed the La Croqueta further into the byline. Because of how that skill move, you do come out of it and you do execute it, you can sort of really dribble on the byline itself. Simple cutback. R9's not missing from 3 yards out. I'm not missing from that far out. 3-1 advantage for Zezinho. 45 minutes. Joksan has been in this position before. He's turned it around before. But is this one step too far?
As you can see, Zezinho, they're having a chat with his coach. How do I just keep my head? 45 minutes left. It doesn't sound like a long time when you talk about a game of FIFA, but trust me, with the what's on the line, shaking, drinking his water bottle there for Zezinho. This is how big of a game. It's a $15,000 game, this is. It gets you more global series ranking points. It gets you a step closer to picking up that trophy. You can't imagine being there, watching from home. Everyone can say, oh, I can do this, I can do that. To be in that position now. We had a game on that, me and you, the other day, and I even felt the nerves.
Yeah, 100%. You feel the tension. It's sort of, that's why it's so fascinating to watch the very best players who just go about the business like nothing's happening. People who can just relish the opportunity. I feel like people like Desari, the players who have won major championships in the past, Desari, Tex, August Rosemeyer. These players, they look like they're not feeling the nerves. They almost eat the nerves up, and it turns into excitement, and you're just eager to play. I've not seen any of the 6 players we've seen so far at the eChampions League have that reaction. They've all looked tentative to me. It's to be expected.
Well, for a lot of them, it's the biggest tournament they've ever played in.
Yep.
$100,000 to the winner of the eChampions League final. Such a special tournament in Madrid as well, the day before the Champions League final. Can Joksan pull out a Champions League miracle? Another 3-1 down at the moment.
Big clap from Mikel.
Just to try and get him going. R9 now for Joksan. Lovely ball inside, Mbappe! Furious with his effort. It was timed green. It took a wicked deflection, hence why it's been given as a corner. Varane into Ronaldo. Oh, yes! Maybe he's back.
That's exactly what he needed. He needed a quick reply. Halves the deficit. 5 minutes after the get-go. After the restart in the second half. Ronaldo just teasing it off the post. Into that bottom left corner. He guided it like a missile. 1-goal game right now.
I don't know if you noticed anything as well. Joksan had his headset on in that first game. It's off now.
Off, yep.
You can hear everything that Mikel's saying to him. All the roars, all the shouts of his coach has been next to him throughout all of this competitive year. Expect an incredible second half of this second leg now. If Zezinho had nerves before this second half, he's got even more now. You think when you're 2 goals up, you don't want to concede to at least the 80th minute, just so you've got 10 minutes to hold out a 1-0 result. Now that's changed. Zezinho needs to build on this result. Build on it, get another goal, down the byline again, looks for R9 again, fake shot inside, tries to play the one more to Neymar.
Bouncing around the box.
He's been so good though, Richard, getting down the byline, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
Such a dangerous area.
Didn't know where that ball was going to end up, like a pinball machine. Every single little deflection, every single touch. Van Dijk bundling over the ball. It's all heightened right now. The senses are heightened.
Neymar to Hullet. A few 1-2s between the two as far as Mbappe. Fake shot inside. Will he do well to get around his man? Oh.
What a save.
It was a big save. He's gone out for a corner. David De Gea. I think he got a hand on that or something.
Yeah, just making himself big right there. David De Gea, and now we're seeing Zezinho's changes that he's bringing on. Team of the Year Neymar off and Heung-min Son coming on. Then brought Eusebio on also. So a couple of changes for the Brazilian.
Well then, 30 minutes left. Zezinho with a chance. As Heung-min Son is introduced. Ronaldo's in there. And it's safely headed away. Here's Zezinho again. Eusebio, he's fresh! And sometimes that's all you need. The perfect substitution for the Brazilian. And it will be the Portuguese icon to extend his lead back to 2 goals again. Just like that.
2 touches. That's all someone of Eusebio and Zezinho's quality needs. Out of his feet, smashes it home.
And that's
once again,
when you get Modric on.
Once again, reinstating that 2-goal cushion. The man right there in the background, that's who the winner of this match will be playing.
Do not forget as well, there is one more quarter-final up after this one. Lev Vinken, recently just signed for Makers, up against North Marcuso. The La Croqueta King, coached by August Rosemeyer. We were just speaking about him, actually. He's at the venue. He was coaching him in Manchester. Teammates with him at North as well. Here's Joksan, Eusebio down the other end. Fancy to go. Fortunately, it was deflected. There's still a lot of time left in this game. Messi does win a free kick on the edge of the box. Ronaldo with that usual free kick stance. Oh, that's an awful layoff. He's got lucky though. It's fallen back to Eusebio for a second bite of the cherry. Alex Telles into Messi. Everybody's back though for Zezinho. The ball needs to get
no one keeping hold of the ball right now. It's turning over at every single opportunity. That's nice. Just a long ball down the line.
Wow, Ronaldo's there.
For me, you don't have to cross that in. You're leading by 2 goals. You've got 20 minutes on the clock. If he takes it into the corner, not keep the ball as such, but just don't waste it straight away. That cross into the box, the percentage of scoring from that, you're pretty much crossing to the edge of the box. Yes, Ronaldo is superhuman in the air, but it's not a good opportunity to waste, really.
You would think that if Joksan can get himself another goal, Zezinho can get himself another goal, it would be game over, or if Joksan does that, it just spices things up a little bit more.
This game is far from over. Do not go anywhere.
Through the legs of Van Dijk, no one's stopping that. He just nestles into the right bottom corner, past David De Gea. And there's still, what, just over 15 in-game minutes left? There's only a goal behind.
The best finisher, for a lot of people's opinion on the game, Moments Eusebio. He's been the catalyst, really, in this second half for both of these 2 players. Scoring goals to extend the league and then half the lead, retrospectively.
Ramos. Back to Modric. As this seesaw just keeps on moving up and down on both sides. Heung-min Son, who will be taking the shot or the chance. Alex Telles just stood in the way of Ronaldo. Watch out on that through ball. Ronaldo's making it. You can see number 10 on your screen in that Ajax shirt.
Didn't want to rush the chance. I like that.
There's Ronaldo in the box. Eusebio's there. Eusebio gets round him to the back post for Messi. Oh, wow! The eChampions League delivers once again in Madrid. Never write off anyone in this tournament.
Never write off Joksan. It could be 17-0 down. He's still bringing it back. Him and Mikel.
And who is it, Richard? What's it about Messi?
What a team.
Champions League, eChampions League. He was the man in Manchester. He scored a header. He had time at the back post. I have no idea. David, I think he's tried to save it with his head.
The thing is, there's enough time left in this game for this to go full circle. And for Joksan to win this game in 90 minutes. Zezinho is so under the cosh right now. It's actually unbelievable. He's got a mountain on top of him in the form of Joksan. He's 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away from cruising through with the best goal advantage that we've seen in the quarterfinals. In 10 minutes, he scores 2 goals, and it's 4-4.
It's twice when he was 2 goals up in an advantage of 2-0 on 2 occasions, but the nerves that this competition is delivering, wow.
Does that man look phased?
Do you back yourself mentally? You've got to go and back yourself again. You are 2 goals up, then you concede, then you're 2 goals up, then you concede 2. On an aggregate, we're at 4-4 again.
99. Champions League, team of the tournament, Lionel Messi.
I'm not sure if it's a requirement for every quarterfinal to go into extra time, because it just seems that way at the moment. Just over 5 minutes left. One more twist in the tail, a bit of class from somebody to send you into a semi-final. Back to goal. Oh no!
I thought you'd gone in.
The Brazilian icon could have nearly sent for the Brazilian FIFA player.
9 times out of 10, that goes in near post. The animation was right.
Just brushed past the side netting. Nothing more than that.
I thought Manchester was hectic and drama-filled.
We haven't even hit semi-finals yet, Richard.
We ain't seen nothing yet.
The Champions League, it came out when it was announced and everybody was talking about it, this prestige tournament, $100,000 on the line. You looked at it then and went, wow, this is going to be special. And
Joksan's waiting for the last chance of the game. We saw it against Veni in the Swiss round.
Make sure that I have the last chance in a match. Make sure I give my opponent no chance.
This is it. As soon as that second minute hits, he's going to go forward.
Well, he needs to now. What's he looking for? He switched over again there from left to right. Does he want to go to extra time? It looks like he's going to be going that way. Unless he believes that, no. For me, when it hits 2 minutes, get forward.
I get why you do it. I 100% get why you wait for the last chance of the game. But if I'm in the 88th minute and I've got a potential going forward with a fullback, I'm taking it. I'm going forward.
Yeah, you've got to.
Because even if you score in the 90th and there's 3 added minutes going on, you've still just defend 1 attack. Just defend 1 attack, you win the game. You're taking the risk of waiting and delaying and delaying.
It surprised me.
It's just something that
we expect him to go forward with what, a minute and 10 seconds left, if that. He was happy. Maybe he feels that he wants to go to extra time for the 30 minutes that he has of trying to break down the Brazilian of Zezinho. Here we go, then extra time for a 3rd time today in our 3rd quarter-final. 2 halves of 15 in-game minutes with Zezinho getting us underway. Heung-min Son just lofting that in the box to Ronaldo. Modric, Hullet, not again. He's already scored 1 in this game.
Big free kick there on the edge. I think Messi was actually the perpetrator there. Let's have a direct shot.
Maybe a direct shot from here, but he's got...
I think it's going to be.
Heung-min Son running over it. Hullet's there as well. Hullet takes it! Hullet will score! We rarely ever see a direct shot. Everybody asks why. And it's in moments like that where you can be unpredictable. Somehow it found a gap in the wall, and he can point to Ruud Hullet on his shirt because he is a hero right now.
And do you know what it is? Joksan's pulled men out of the wall. He's expecting a layoff. It's almost human nature to expect the layoff at an event. The only players that I can really think shoot directly from free kicks, I know #Ryan likes a direct free kick. Ajax Danny, I saw him score a couple in Bucharest at the LQE the last time out. Apart from that, I'm racking my brain. Not a lot of people are shooting from free kicks. As soon as he pulled them 2 men out of the wall, there was so much room from that close in. All you've got to do is get it on target. Rude Hull it over it. Power the free kick.
Rude Hull it's on for a hat-trick
on
in
the
this game.
floor. And I tell you what, Zezinho, we thought that it were going Joksan's way. We thought the tables had turned. We thought the pendulum had swung in the North Americans' way.
Come back to South America now. It's swung back the other way as he leads
in control.
5-4, Richard, after the free kick. As we said, we never usually see a direct free kick, especially. Look at him shaking. Zezinho shaking there. As we're waiting just to get back into this game straight away. And this break of a few seconds or even a minute could be huge for Joksan just to get his mental state back together once again. He's been, behind 2 goals at a time?
On two different occasions.
And to have that mental strength to bounce yourself back and to score the 2 goals, to get himself to extra time. He did it in Manchester 2 times, 3 times. I don't even know why I'm surprised. You said it perfectly when he scored. You know, you over-exaggerated a bit, but 17-0 down, I'm sure he won't definitely come back on that. Incredible stuff. And what's he thinking now? What can he do? Is Mikel got any words of wisdom for him in these last few minutes? Can he get himself a goal back? Will we see our first penalty shootout?
So what I'm hearing right now is we are checking the substitutions between the 2 players. The admin's in there checking to see, have we got 3 icons on the pitch for Zezinho? Do we have 3 icons? Do we have 3 Champions League variant players on the pitch for Zezinho? That's why this sort of break in between the goal and the restart has taken so long. It sounds like we are back underway in this matchup.
If you are wondering what we are talking about, the squad rules in place for this eChampions League tournament. You must have 3 icons in use and 3 Champions League items on the pitch at all times. If you want to sub one, you have to sub an icon on for an icon, and a Champions League item for a Champions League item. You get the gist. All seems good here, though. Thumbs up from the admins. And Zezinho leads by 5-4. Rude Hull, who else to score a free kick? Ronaldo back to Vieira. It's going to be Modric that stands in the way, who was introduced just, 10 minutes before the end of this game. Is Heung-min Son on side?
Yep.
I think he might be. He's fresh as well, pretty fresh. Eusebio's also fresh. One more goal would probably do it, but
that's what Van Dijk's so good at. Right place, right time. Taking the ball off his toe.
Joksan has got his back against the wall once again. The North American FIFA player just seems like he can always bounce back.
It's come a long way, the goalie.
Went for it in the air. David Haya went with 2 hands and just punched it away. There's Hullet. What's the run? I think Mbappe made it. But everybody back for Zezinho. We're nearly at half-time in extra time. Look at that run from R9. The Brazilian to be a hero for Zezinho! Is that enough? R9!
You saw the space just open up. There's an ocean for R9 to run into. That's what happens when you're trailing in the game in extra time. You have to go attacking. That's what Joksan did, and back to a 2-goal deficit. R9 slotting past the goalkeeper, 15 minutes left to play.
The only positive is that he's going straight into a pause now where he's got the opportunity to maybe go 3 at the back, or maybe really just go out for this game now, as he's got 15 minutes left to once again come back with a killer blow and try to get 2 goals to put a 6-6 on aggregate. It's a huge ask, but you can't write off this man. You really can't. Zezinho, though, what a story. The R9 icon stepping up, the Brazilian hero, scoring a goal for the Brazilian FIFA player. Eusebio, deflection, it's Pele on it as well. And in half-time and extra time, this is how it looks at the moment. 5-3 in this game. 1-1 was the score in the first leg, so 6 goals to 4. Zezinho currently leads. Can he hold on to a 2-goal lead with 15 minutes left? You've got to think so, but it's so unpredictable.
Yeah, you'd be a fool to predict the outcome of any of these matchups before the game starts. Even while the game's taking place, it's so hard to call who's going to be a winner, who's going to be a loser. Here at the eChampions League, it's so evenly matched in every single game. There's a reason that we've gone to extra time in all the quarterfinals so far. It's the smallest of margins.
Well, it's Pele that's been introduced. He might have been introduced in extra time as well because he is full of energy. First time I've actually seen him in use today. Pele now on the edge of the box, another Brazilian that could step up and score a huge goal, or at least impact on this match. Eusebio's made that run once again. This is where it could all go downhill for Joksan. R9, he's inside a drag back scoop turn, and just like that, simplifying it, making it look so easy. He will be in the semi-finals, and he will be up against Dr. Nightwatch. How about that one for an eChampions League semi-final?
Composure, calmness, personified right there in that goal. He had the pass, he could have played it one more. He just kept his cool. Little drag back into a scoop turn. R9, finesse past the goalkeeper. 7 goals to 4. Zezinho leads, and what a second leg we've had.
So good, and for Zezinho to pull himself up again. After going 2 goals up on 2 occasions, he threw away that lead, came into extra time, and the attitude that he's been able to show has been second to none. 7-4 he leads in front, 3 goals in front, the biggest of scorelines we've seen in all our quarterfinals. And just minutes away from guaranteeing himself another $15,000. Some more Global Series ranking points and a spot in the last 4 of this unique competition called the eChampions League. Another incredible quarterfinal, Richard.
The referee has indicated there will be a minimum
So good.
of 2 minutes.
Yeah, what an
added time.
unbelievable set of quarterfinals that we've had so far. It's been everything that we expected here in Madrid. And Zezinho looking to extend his lead yet again. 7-4 on aggregate.
A consolation, if anything, for Joksan now. Then Mbappe, Ramos does the job, and that is game over. It will be Zezinho in the semi-finals. He will be in the last 4. 7 goals to 4, and once again, we had to go to extra time.
And Team Hullet beating